Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you might be. My name is Brandon King with SneakerShopTalk.com and the Big G Sports Network, and we've got a very, very special guest, the first recruit in the history of Talladega Gymnastics, the first HBCU gymnast uh, from a HBCU in Alabama to win a national title, and the second HBCU gymnast overall, and um, new Temple Owl, Kyrstin Johnson. How you doing this afternoon?
I'm pretty good. Sorry, it's my dog. I'm pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. I appreciate you spending a few moments with us today. I know obviously there's been a lot going on with you both personally and from a collegiate perspective. As a bit of background for those who may not know, fortunately, the Talladega gymnastics program is being discontinued after 1 year, and we've got Miss Johnson here to kind of to tell us a little bit about it and share her story and what's going on, and we're going to have a conversation about that. So obviously, the news. It came out when I saw it. It was very
Mhm.
surprising. I was like,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah.
Um, and I know we talked a little bit about it briefly offline. In terms of when you all found out, um, I guess my first question is: was it a case of you all? Um, was it something that Coach Aja found out beforehand and then told you, or did you all find out at the same time? Was it an individual thing, or how did that process uh, kind of transpire?
That's actually a good question. I will have to say that Coach Asia was the one who found out first. Um, I want to say that she found out the same day that she told us.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I tell you it's just so sudden, I just remember I want to say it was a Thursday, and I got an email at 9 a.m. saying, "Hey girls, there's a mandatory Zoom meeting. I just have some important news to tell you, blah, 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 blah." Didn't think too much of it. We all got in the Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
and the athletic director was there, and then there was Coach Asia, and then Coach Zan and Coach Wendy, and they broke the news. And when I tell you that my jaw just dropped, and my heart dropped too, because my mind was already set to go back to Talladega, and I think we only had like a month left.
Yeah.
So I was just like, Okay, but what are we gonna do?" I was like, the only thing I just wish that they would have done would at least come to us and be like, okay, we're struggling on like funding. Is there we can possibly do this and this and this to probably save the program, but instead they just dropped it and they were just like, that's it. Um, and now we all just had to find out what the next steps were. And it kind of put a burden on me because the first thing I thought about were my parents. I'm like, now they probably have to worry about money. Um, I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, is the portal closed? I'm like, where am I going to go? There's just so many questions that I had in just a span of just seconds. And I just felt lost, confused, and I was just hurt. Um, but as the days went by, like, like it sunk in, but it didn't really like sink in until the page got taken down. Gymnastics page got taken down, and I was just like, okay, why did they take down the page? I'm just like, all of our memories that we made as a team are just gone. I was just like, the progress that we made throughout the season or up till the season is just wiped. Luckily, they did bring it back, but that's when I really just broke down. I just looked at my parents. I'm like, guys, this is real. So to save the program, or somehow try to save the program, my mom came up with an idea to start. Well, she thought of a GoFundMe, but then she went to um so there's Brown Shoe Gymnastics. Brown Shoe Gymnastics, they're the ones who actually put gymnastics in HBCUs. So Darren Moore, she's the head of it.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom contacted um Darren Moore and came up with an idea of starting a fundraiser. They started the fundraiser, and the support was just huge. That's when everybody was just coming in. Everyone was sad and angry, including the alumni. Um, because we weren't as a team, we made history. We were a good team. Definitely for our first year. We were the first HBCU
Absolutely.
gymnastics team to be a D1 school. Like that's huge. And we even had 6 national qualifiers as well. Um, so everyone was just hurt, and they were seriously just really giving out money and just spreading the news. And I knew that we had a support system, but not as big until the news broke out that the program was going to be cut from Talladega. So it was a lot going on in a span of just weeks, and we were all just really just sticking together and just trying to figure out how to get through it, like as a team. So
I mean, I can't imagine, and you just touched on it, in terms of you go in one day, you're already, your mind is moving forth, preparing how you're going to improve for next season, goals you may have already wanted to set, you may have talked with the coaching staff and things of that nature, and to
mhm.
just have that rug just pulled out from under you so
Yes.
quickly. And it sounds like from what you just said, there was no sort of signs, there was no warning. It was like the lights are
No.
on today and the lights are off tomorrow.
Yeah.
And and like you said, you just touched on all of those other factors that go into it, from a family perspective, having to try to figure out, well, where can I go now, how is this going to affect me? See,
Mhm.
these are, and I'm glad you touched on that, because when you hear these stories, these are the aspects that don't get the proper attention, because there are real people, there are real a group of young ladies such as yourself that this
Right.
decision affected, and potentially, adversely. Obviously, of your stature, you were able to find the landing spot. Um,
Mhm.
but that may not be, the case for everyone else on the team, because we know how the portal can be. Just because you enter the portal doesn't necessarily mean there's something for you on
Mm.
the other side. And so, um, for you to touch on some of those things, I think is absolutely important. And thank you for doing that. And I guess one of the questions that I did have, um, obviously you get the news, you make the call, you make that difficult call to your family, your inner circle. What is that like? And then do you go into, obviously you went through the thoughts, but do you go into immediately trying to come up with a contingency plan right then? And what does that process look like? Because we see, usually when athletes get into the portal, I mean,
Yeah.
it can be a spur of the moment decision, but there's usually, it's not a case where the program is no longer there. So,
Mhm.
the circumstances push you out of the door. So what did that conversation look like when you had to kind of break the news to your inner circle and things of that nature?
Um, it was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. Um, Definitely with just all the history that we've made. I also feel like it kind of just gave a bad look to HBCUs. Um, and it just hurts me because you even hear like athletes be like, "I'm not going to a HBCU. I'm gonna go to a D1." And now people are probably gonna be like really? I feel like you kind of gave this on a silver platter. Gave him this on a silver platter because now that we're gonna be like, oh, did you see what they did to that gymnastics team? I'm definitely not going to a HBCU. So that's why it's embarrassing. Um, and I also really, it was really hard for me, but I can't imagine how the new recruits felt, including international students. The new recruits probably dropped other schools just to experience an HBCU. and it just got snatched. And the first time when you sign to a college is the best feeling like ever, and it just got taken away from you. And it's sad. And I really feel for the new recruits, and it's horrible. But now I don't know if you possibly been on the internet. Wilberforce was actually going to be the third HBCU. They were going to start in 2026, but what they decided to
Yes.
do was take some of the girls from Talladega and move them over to Wilberforce, and maybe have them compete this year. But also some girls, including me, also decided to, branch out and look into other options and commit to a different school. So, like I said, it's been a process. It's been hard, but some of us are starting to, find our calling as well. So,
And I'm gonna be honest. I can tell from the words and how much this weighs on you even now. Uh,
mhm.
several weeks out. You mentioned um, what Wilberforce has done, and I think that's tremendous. Now,
Yeah.
when you obviously, when things went away, you did have obviously, and like I said, obviously, you would have had several options. I know was say an North Carolina A&T or Fisk, was
Mhm.
that ever on your radar? Did you look at that, or kind of what you just alluded to? You like did that kind of sour you on looking at another HBCU in terms of your experience, and was that so I say all that to say
Mhm.
what put Temple over the top and made that the choice for you?
For Temple, I think I just had to really focus on what I wanted to do. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Temple gave me everything that I was looking for. Academic wise, I really
Mm-hmm.
um, connected with the coaches, and I knew that I was going to get everything that I needed health wise as well. But as a HBCU,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think what happened at Talladega was unfortunate. I wouldn't look at a HBCU any different, kind of way. Um, but that's the reason why I chose Temple, and I'm really excited to go to Temple and just meet the new girls, and we're all going to be a family. So,
Yeah, well, absolutely. Um, and in taking us kind of a little bit down memory lane, obviously, can you
mhm,
talk about what is it like, being you and your team, and it was kind of when I talked with um, Coach Sims Fletcher before the season start. I said, literally every time you all step on the mat that first season, it's making history.
yeah,
Every time, the first time you place, the first time you get this score and things of that nature.
mhm,
um when you go as you went through the season, um what was that like, and was it something that you thought about as the season progressed, or was it just um a situation to where we're just looking to get better, I'm looking to get better individually as a
mhm.
team, and maybe down the line I'll think about it. So what was your mindset um as you went through that first and unfortunately the only season at
Mhm.
Talladega College?
To describe one word of it all, I feel like it was empowering. Um, and I felt like that we really got to show that brown girl, power of ours, and really got to show up and show out and showed what Talladega College gymnastics was all about. Um, it was fun. I feel like I had a family. I feel like I could be myself, and I feel like that all of us were able to show everyone our personalities and what HBCU is about. So I wouldn't change anything for the world. Um, it was like the best season, not just for me, but for all of us as a team. And I think we're all happy that we were able to experience it, even if it was just once. So.
another question that I did want to ask, because you did, and I touched on it in your intro, with you getting
Mhm.
that win at nationals. I mean, that was so huge. Not only for the program, but
Mhm.
you individually. And I would definitely say, what is going on here? What the heck? I just cut off.
I can hear you, but I just can't see you
I
anymore.
can hear you. My connection. Okay. Well, if you can hear me, I just keep going. I don't know what's going on with my
Now I can
audio
see
here.
you.
Um,
Okay.
but like I was saying, from okay. Um, but kind of re-asking my question, since I don't know if it took, but the win that you had at nationals, that national championship, obviously it was huge, not only for obviously you personally, the program, but I would definitely say easily, HBCU gymnastics and even HBCUs as a whole,
Mhm.
um, to be at the forefront, and um, to make history on that level. Despite everything, you still have that, uh, to that laurel to rest on. How did that feel personally, and then even within the program, what was the 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 thought behind that, or just the feel around getting that particular victory?
It it was huge. I was so proud of myself, but it's funny in the moment, I don't think I actually knew what I had done because I remember after winning, like, Coach Asia was just like, "Do you even realize what you did?" I was like, "No." She was like, "Do you even realize what a four-time All-American is?" I was like, "Not really." So she broke it down. Basically, it's kinda just like you're, like, the best, like, in the nation for, like, what you did. So I was just like, "Oh." I was like, "Okay." Even though I kinda took it a little bit, it was still just sinking in, 'cause I just remember at the very beginning how nervous I was, and, like, me as a person, I'm, like, a perfectionist, and I remember how hard I was working in the gym, just trying to make sure, like, I hit every handstand on bars or try to stay solid on my feet, no wobbles, try not to fall off, and also just trying to work on my confidence on every single event. Um, and I just went in there, I just had fun, and it was also different too because for nationals, I wasn't with my team, I was with Cornell. So at individual, you join a whole other team, and they brought me in, I feel like I was part of their team, and they also made sure that I was also having a good time. They got to teach me some of their team cheers, and I got to teach them some of ours, and I wouldn't change anything about that weekend. Day 1 or 2, had so much fun, and went out there and killed it, and I brought home a whole whole championship, so very proud of myself, very proud of myself. Definitely accomplishing that as a freshman is also huge too. Never thought I would have done that in my freshman year. Come to find out it was actually a lot of records that I broke too in the midst of that. Um, I wanna say I broke the Talladega floor record. I tied the beam record, um, broke the vault record for Talladega or just HBCU gymnastics. Um, for bars, I also hold the highest bar score too for Talladega. So, very proud of myself. Um, showed out, and then go Tornadoes.
You know, when you set out this year, I mean, if you had your bingo card of things that you wanted to accomplish, would you have said any of that, what you accomplished, was that on your list? Did the season go you would have thought, or?
Um, the season did not go how I thought. I knew it was gonna be a good season, but definitely with not the things that I did. Um, I will have to say my number one goal was to stick my vault, which is what I did, not only at nationals, but including the last meet for that year. Um, and then what else? What else? Also making my beamer team for nationals, that was another goal. Um, the third goal I was not able to accomplish was getting a 10. I almost got a 10. That would have been amazing, but I can still do that at Temple. Um, that was the only goal I did not accomplish. Plus, I did some other things beyond what I wanted. So, hey, it works out.
That is tremendous. I want to shift gears a little bit and
Mhm.
kind of talk about, you've been kind of doing your thing in the NIL market.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
we talked a little bit about it. I covered it a little bit. And because we see, obviously when it comes to the NIL thing, you typically hear about it more or less from the quote unquote stick and ball sports, your football
Yeah.
guys, basketball, baseball, so on and so forth. But you have a couple, as I was looking, I saw at least three. And if I've
Mhm.
left any out, please let me know. And I kind of wanted to ask you about that. How did that come about? I know you are working with, I believe it's called Fans Meet Idols.
Yes.
Uh, and so,
Mhm.
was it a situation? One, the NIL deals that you have, did it come through that, or was it kind of the quote unquote sweat of your own brow? So if you kind of talk about the NIL work, and the things that you've been able to get done in that perspective.
I will have to say that the NIL thing and just social media, it is a lot. Um, Trust me, I could not do all that on my own. My mom is actually my PR person. She helps me balance it all. But for the NIL thing, I knew that like what I like accomplished, and I also realized like, oh my god, also like saw like the brands and just like, oh my gosh, I love this brand. I would love to like try it out. So also like reach out and be like, hey, is there a way I could possibly try out your products? And they would give me an affiliate code or link, and people could either use that code or my link, and it just goes from there. Either I would kind of like get like paid for whoever like uses my link and whatever merchandise they bought, then I would kind of get a percentage off of that, and I would get paid through that. Um, but I'm also been trying to get away from affiliate, and kind of get into like a paid partnership as well. So that's also like a working like progress, still trying to figure that out. But the NIL thing has been like so much fun. I can't wait to see what else there is to come. So yeah, it's definitely been a journey.
And with the noise that you've been able to make,
Yeah.
in the NIL arena, has there been other, athletes, other gymnasts, maybe volleyball players, or some of the sports that may not get necessarily the attention of the big two or the big three, to kind of pick your brain in terms of how they can position themselves to kind of do what you're doing?
This dog keeps going off. Is she okay? Yeah. Okay. I'm
I
sorry.
got three
Can
of
you
them, so I
repeat the question
understand.
one more time?
I I was basically saying with what you've been able to accomplish in the NIL arena.
Correct.
Has there been athletes from other sports, maybe fellow gymnasts, maybe
Mhm.
volleyball, golfers, things of that nature, the sports that may not get necessarily the attention of the big two or the big three, to kind of pick your brain, so they can kind of replicate some of the success you're having in that avenue?
Um, that's actually a good question. Um, oh, well, my mom would like to join. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, well, come on in. This is Mama Dukes. I'm sorry.
Can you
Hey,
edit
Mama
that one?
Johnson.
Her name is Sharon.
I heard NIL stuff. That's my department.
I told you. I told you. Look, you got
Get
the
that
temple
temple in
shirt.
there.
I see
I did not.
Okay.
But I will say on the NIL thing, she did really great wanting to try products, did the affiliate thing. But once she became a national champion, can't do the affiliate. I mean, you still can have an affiliate code, but you need to be paid for your time. Creating content, getting it posted, juggling all of that. You need guaranteed funds.
Yeah.
So that's how that is. So now she actually has another one that's about to be released. Even though it's a code, I mean, there's a few that she's done where it's not affiliate, which all of them are NILs. But now she's into paid sponsorships, paid partnerships.
Correct.
So that's what we do.
So I guess obviously with her winning the national championship, that going into that realm, that changes things to now the brands are, would you say they're now coming to you? And if that is the case, is that now allowing you to be, and that's not to say that you weren't before, but a little more selective about deals and arrangements that you're entering into now, or would potentially enter into?
Yeah, kind of.
So
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So what she says, what she does, she loves.
Yes.
So that's my whole thing with her and branding her is being authentic with the brands that she supports.
I was just about to say, I can make sure with the brands that I, like put out there, I want to give them like a genuine, authentic review. Not something just be like, oh, okay, let's go get this. I mean, I'm just doing this to be saying it. No, like I actually genuinely like the product. I think you guys should try it. It's a good investment, so.
And would you say that's a bit of advice would you offer to, fellow collegiate athletes, as they're having success, and maybe, brands are starting to reach out to them? What is some words of wisdom from you and your PR department there?
I will have to say definitely keep posting on a regular basis too, just for people who are possibly wanting you to support their brand, to be like, okay, this person would actually possibly make good videos, would actually post my product on a regular basis. What else am I missing? Because she gives me a lot of
I think what he's asking is, my advice would be, which is what I said, is be authentic and genuine.
Oh yes, sorry.
So if you genuinely use the product, you try the product, then your content's going to be better.
Yes.
I'm not going to sit here and say I just tried apple cider vinegar and this is great, and then my stomach is burning afterwards.
Yes.
I don't really like it. Because then if you do a product and people don't agree with it and they get it, well, now they're like, I don't trust any of her products.
Yes.
She supports. That's not helping her or her brand. So I would say anybody, be authentic with what you're doing. Review it. If it's a product you don't like, and talk to the company, return it, and move to the next one. That's what I would say.
Absolutely. And I guess kind of finishing up, this is kind of a fun question. I like to finish my conversations with fun questions. So I did notice that one of your hobbies is drawing. And
yeah. Sorry.
so I myself, when I was an art major when I graduated. So, when did you start drawing? And in terms of were you little, and then what are your favorite mediums and things that you like, subject matter that you like to do when you have time?
I do love to paint, but definitely sketching is definitely my specialty. I've always just been drawing since I was like little, even with crayons and just pencils, whatever I saw, and whenever I was bored, I would just start drawing. But then it came to the point to where I really wanted to get better at it, and I'm a perfectionist, to where I would really look up like YouTube videos on how to draw certain things, or how to shade, how to blend, and I really started to get really good at it, to where I was even considering maybe doing graphic design. But I kind of like put graphic design to the side and really focused on, become a veterinarian, since I always just love pets. But if maybe if that really isn't my calling, I think I would actually look back at the graphic design and really give that a shot as well. But I love drawing. Love drawing. I do it like all the time. Like really downstairs in my basement, it's a whole wall that's filled with like my drawing and sketches. My mom even gave me a portfolio to put my drawings in as well. I even have some paintings in my room that I made for myself. So drawing has always just been my thing besides gymnastics. So yeah.
When you paint, are you an oil or are you an acrylic person?
You know what? I'll have to say more acrylic. I've been trying to get into oil. Um, Still trying to figure that out, but more acrylic right now.
Oil is it's a little different because you don't have that quick drying time that you do
Yes,
acrylic.
I've
Acrylic
realized that.
quick. You have to be more decisive because it dries, and with oil you have a little more time to where you can go in and kind of play
Yep.
with some after the fact. And it's they're definitely different. They have their upsides and their downsides. Like I said, I've
Hmm.
been more of an acrylic guy. I've done a little bit with oil, but it's kind of I guess either higher style or
Yeah.
what aesthetic you want to portray. So I had
I'm
when
so
I
shocked you brought up the drawing thing. I don't really talk about it too much.
Or that she can
Or
sing
okay, okay. We're gonna get to
and
that.
blow.
so
Sorry, I
it's
had to throw that in.
like you are overflowing with talent here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess in wrapping, have you been watching the Olympics?
I have, and I think this year was such a good year in terms of the Olympics. I even started watching the Simone Biles documentary. Watching that, I can relate to so much that she has said. Definitely the time when she had to drop out of the Olympics, I can totally understand that because I think people really don't realize how mental gymnastics is. Yes, it's physical, but it's definitely mental. Because once everything's not right up here, everything can go wrong. There's like this thing she was talking about the twisties. It's almost like if your brain is telling you to do one thing, but your body can't connect with your brain, so your body does something else. And then she talks about, like coaches and everything like that. So I can definitely relate to everything in that documentary. But I also think that was really empowering how you actually have brown girls, you know what I'm saying? All of them like won, and then I think that was really cool. Um, there was a lot that was really nice about the Olympics this year. So
Absolutely. I caught a little bit of, and it was just interesting to see that particular process because like I said, and you've seen um, more athletes more and more discuss mental health, be it
yeah,
whether it be in basketball, a DeMar DeRozan or a Kevin Love or
yeah,
Simone Biles, and you when you have athletes of that stature discussing it,
hmm,
it's going to go a long way in not only shining a light to get more attention on it, but
oh yeah,
also encouraging other people, to come forward and I hate to use this word, normalize um,
hmm,
that conversation because, like I said, as an athlete, so much of it is mental in terms of your preparation, all of those things,
course,
getting up to train when you may not feel like training and
yep,
pushing yourself and all of those things. And the mental aspect is so important, and to have Simone and these other athletes discuss that so openly, I
oh
think
yeah,
is a tremendous thing. And salute to her and happy to see that she got over the twisties, um,
hmm,
what I would call what they might call in golf the yips.
the
Um,
yep. I never heard that.
it's almost where you can't hit the ball straight anymore.
Oh
And,
wow,
I've seen it in baseball. There was what was dude's name? Chuck Knobloch. I think he was a shortstop or a second base, and lost the ability to throw the ball to first base. It totally like derailed his career. So
wow.
yeah, it's a mental aspect, and sometimes it just happens.
Oh yeah,
Um,
mentally, I used to struggle mentally as well. Like there was even one point I had to have a mindset coach. Because I, as an athlete, sometimes you think that you can possibly juggle everything on your own when actually you really need help. like I was struggling with a lot, like personal things and also just skills like confidence, and then feeling like you can't fit in, and there's just a lot. And I was just like, okay, how can I actually balance all of this as an athlete and still achieve the goals that I want to achieve? So it came down to meditating, journaling, and then talking to her on a regular basis. So, um, yeah, like mental struggles, it's a real thing, definitely as an athlete. And that's another thing I really want to show. That really, I really make sure to show on my page. It's just that I do want to show the mistakes that I make, because sometimes as a gymnast, you see like these other star gymnasts. You're just like, how are they so perfect all the time? Because sometimes you just see like always like the good things that they do, and never see like the downside of it. And I really want to make sure that I do show like the downsides or like the mistakes that I make in gymnastics, so people have something they could relate to. Because I didn't have that. Um, yeah, I feel like that's just really important to just really put out there, and that's another reason why I also went Simone Biles for also making a documentary as well. Just for other gymnasts to look up to, and also be like, okay, this is real. It's not just me. I'm not the only person.
Yeah,
So
when they talk about their struggles, it absolutely humanizes it, because you all are at the pinnacle of physicality in terms of humanity,
mhm.
and to bring out and speak to that mental aspect of it, I think is big, and it really speaks to them, being not only self-aware, but I think enough to confident themselves enough to be vulnerable, to show that
Right.
there's been some points in my life that, even though I'm able to do these athletic feats that
Mhm.
people marvel at, there are some areas that I struggle with like other people, and I want to share my story,
Yeah.
um, so that it may help someone else. So I think that is a great thing.
Oh yeah. I agree.
So with that being said, thank you again for taking some time out and having this conversation with me. I know we went a little over, so I appreciate you sharing your time with us. Again, this is new,
Yeah.
Temple Owl, Kyrstin Johnson,
Yes.
and we'll be watching. Your progression at Temple, and I only have one ask of you, and that is when you get your first win, you got to come back on and talk with us again.
Oh, most definitely. I do not
So
have a problem doing that.
so we'll definitely watching. We'll definitely be rooting for you, because, like I said, even though, as far as I see it, everything that went down, you're still
Mhm.
part of the HBCU family, and
Yeah.
and we're gonna
Thank you.
root for tremendous things for you as you move forth. Uh, So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for spending a few moments with us. Thank you also for bearing with us as we had some technical difficulties, some challenges, but we were able to overcome. We had a tremendous conversation with national champion, former Talladega Tornado, and now current Temple Owl gymnast Kyrstin Johnson. Sorry,
Kirsten.
sorry that.
It's okay.
And thank you all again, and we're going to be back with more conversations like this, to where with movers and shakers in the HBCU sporting diaspora. And thank you
Mhm.
again. Be sure to check our website out for more news, updates, stories, and as always, tell the ones that you love that you love them. Thank you again.
Thank you.